Welcome to the third video in the Russian helmet ballistic test battery. If you haven't seen the first K6 helmet video, watch it first, as it goes into greater detail about my reasoning for the rounds and weapons I'm using for this test. I know you aren't watching the K6 video first, because it has less views than the LShZ video. Anyone that doesn't watch the K6 video gets put on the naughty list. I don't make the rules. Anyway, here's some graphs for the nerds. If you'd like to see the helmet test results before the videos are posted, you can join my Patreon where I've uploaded them. This video is a double feature. The next helmets I'm testing are the LShZ-2DT and the 2DTM Vulcan, or Volcano. Manufactured by Armacom, these high-tech helmets, made out of Kevlar called discrete fabrics, serve as direct replacements for the Alton helmet in FSB service starting at the end of the 2000s to the modern day. I'm gonna use 2DT and 2DTM to describe these helmets respectively. LShZ is too much of a mouthful for me. The 2DT is a simple protective bubble helmet with a ballistic visor attached, but the 2DTM Vulcan, by comparison, is a bit more feature-rich. It makes use of a ballistic Aventail, Picatinny rails, a cut in the visor for gas masks, night vision mount, and a counterweight. This robust Vulcan 2DTM will be the subject of this video's giveaway. All you've got to do to be put in the running to win this helmet is leave a comment on this video. This video wouldn't have been possible without generous support from Commando Store. They provided not only funding for many of the helmets, but the 357 Magnum and the 5.7 with the armor-piercing ammunition. Commando Store sells a lot of military surplus items of every kind, including my mascot, Gondola. You can find him and more on their website, commandostore.com. I'm going to test the actual helmets first, then both of their visors. I'll start out with 9x19 for the Vulcan 2DTM. Where did the bullet go? No spalling or ricochet this time. The DTM has completely swallowed the round, with no penetration or serious deformation. Moving on to 357. Same story. This helmet seems to be the complete antithesis of the metal helmets. It completely absorbs the force of the bullet and captures it. The 357, however, made significantly more deformation, but this isn't anything that the liner wouldn't be able to handle. Moving on to 5.7. This round was built with soft armor in mind, so it should be ideal for a Kevlar-based helmet. Perfect. The round went right through and made an impact on the inside of the helmet near the night vision mount. This is a great example of where SS-190 gets the job done when other pistol rounds can't. And with that penetration, there's no need to hit the Vulcan with 5.45. But we still need to test the Kevlar Aventail. Here's the insert. I've cut it open in order to check out the inner Kevlar. It's composed of 3 soft armor layers sewn together at the center. I took it slow with this one, hitting it with 9x18 for starters. Wow, couldn't even make it past the first layer. We picked the round out and found that didn't mushroom either. Moving on to 9x19. Still, not even past the first layer of Kevlar again. Some interesting deformation on the round though. On to 5.7. Right through the center. That hole is absolutely tiny, but it went through all 3 layers. Another great example of SS-190 reigning supreme. There is clearly some point between 9x19 and 5.7 AP that represents the limit of what the Aventail is able to survive, and I could have experimented with other rounds or how the 3 layers fan out. My ideal test would have been getting some clay and testing how much energy would be dampened against the neck. Let's move on to the 2DT helmet. Unfortunately, on testing the 2DT, I had my first fuck up, and the Hero 8 GoPro stopped recording during the 9mm and the 357 shooting. But we know what it'll look like. These helmets have similar protection and were built under the same concept. The bullets will be captured within the helmet, right? Well, assuming that's true, it means I'd be able to dig them out of the Kevlar. So let's start with 9x19. A square hit with not much deformation. Maybe slightly worse deformation here than on the 2DTM. At home I dug out the bullet and found a perfect mushroom. The bullet was perfectly captured within the helmet, and not a single piece of copper jacket has detached from the lead, 0 spalling from the initial impact. Moving on to 357. Another solid hit, but this time the round left quite a bulge, though that fat liner fits back in and I don't think this would take you out of the fight. Still, the round left a bigger deformation than it did with the 2DTM, so the 2DT must be slightly weaker. Let's finish it with 5.7. We hit this helmet 2 times with 5.7 AP. We also hit it with a normal 5.7 FMJ round that hits with about 500 less feet per second and doesn't have a penetrator built inside. That round did not penetrate, but I wasn't able to find it when I dug into the Kevlar. That'll be a project for the winner of the last giveaway. One of the AP rounds in particular passed through the helmet, exiting out and returning into the bulge from the 357 round. It then exited out the helmet near the 357's entry point. The AP rounds both hit at pretty high angles and still went through no problem. And now that we're done with the helmets, let's test the visors. Although I wasn't sure to the visor's rating at the time. I found out later that the DTM's visor uses the new Russian BR rating system and is rated at BR2. This means it can take a single 9x21 FMJ Guryuza hit. 9x21 is a pretty robust round. It's quite similar to how 9x19 hits, though it's a little stronger. Had I known that, I would have tried testing with something a little harder hitting, but I'm glad I didn't. The visor handily took the 9mm round, suspending it perfectly in the glass. The shock of the impact broke the glass at the screws, showing the dispersal of energy to the helmet's connecting points. And with the visor already compromised, I hit it with 5.7 AP and 357 just for fun. Both rounds of course went through. My second fuck up in this test was that the similar looking 2DT visor is only rated for GOST 1. That is 9x18 Makarov rated. So of course I hit it with 357 Magnum. At the time, I assumed it was as strong as the 2DTM visor. Ugh. If you want to see what a GOST 1 visor is capable of, I do have a video on the K6 visor that offers the same protection rating as the 2DT's glass. These helmets as a whole offer pretty decent protection, accepting extra weight in order to increase coverage to the head. Although these Armacoms are nearing a decade since their inception, they can still be seen alongside their more modern counterparts, such as the Kiver RSP and the LShZ-1 Plus helmet, the latter also being an Armacom product. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and please keep watching as I have more projects on the way. Don't forget to comment to be entered in the giveaway, and consider supporting me on Patreon or my new Ko-fi page.